schools safe. This is a priority thing that we all should be concerned with.
And you're right, Miss Denny. This summer has been violent, across America. Just today, I think it was in Delaware, 5 people were shot in a home. Yesterday in Maryland, a number of people were shot. The day before that, 15 or 16 people shot in Chicago. It just goes on. I mean, we're reading about these large number of people being shot. Well, I recall sitting here a while back talking about the violence in Chicago with teenagers.
Yeah.
Now it's here. Well, Satan is a busy man.
Yes, he is.
Satan is a busy man. And he's listening to us talk and allowing people to read about all this. We're to pray for those people and pray not just for ourselves. We're to pray for everybody because the blood is one color, and that is red.
That's
we
right.
cannot forget about Jesus. And when I look at people lose a family member to violence, people will run to that and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And then you'll have this other crowd who criticize and post negative comments on social media. Well, they were nothing but old gangbanger. Jesus is not happy with that kind of talk, because it's my job, your job, the people out there watching, when they hear violence, to get involved, to help. Like this pastor talked about his outreach ministry down in Calhoun Falls. It's people's jobs, not only just in Calhoun Falls. Those children who he's trying to help are all our children. And those people who have family problems or violence, they're my age, they're our brothers and sisters in Christ if we're living under one. But people now have rejected Jesus, and they think this paper, which you showed a while ago, is the way to go, and it's not the way to go. It's about a book called Bible.
See, I mean, our country's been in love with guns since the beginning.
All right, and it's not a rich thing, it's not a poor thing, it's not a black thing, it's not a white thing. We're going into every subdivision, dealing with every race across the country. It's violence have just taken over.
I know you've recently been in Chicago, haven't you?
But yes, we have. But when I thought about it, and I had to go back to the little 2-year-old kid down in Lawrence who was beat to death, by his parents and his stepfather. And when I first heard it, and then the first person said to me, said, "Jack, that must be a black child." And I hate to talk about this too, but no, that shows that Satan is in the white race, is in the black race, is in the Hispanics. When we go out in the community, you see this everywhere. When we went down to Anderson the other day, when those people down there throwing firecrackers, I think it was on the 4th of July, when that 3-year-old girl was shot. And we drove up down there at 10:45 p.m. at night. Children, 6 and 7, 8, running around. No parenting. That's very disturbing.
Well, it's the breakdown of the family.
It's the breakdown.
Part of
and it goes back to people. We need to get back to the basics. And it's about Jesus Christ and raising your children.
A lot of people out there are going to say it's too late. We can't turn
No, it's never too late.
Yes.
The world is like the television or the soap opera. As the world turns, and we can always turn it around. And we must go back to the basics and put God first, His words first. And we have forgot about that, and that's why we have all this violence going on.
Okay, now, Pastor Bobby, you work with young people.
Yes.
At age 5 all the way through teenage years. And you try to give them something positive. And many of these kids don't have positive at home. The problems start at home.
Absolutely. The Bible teaches us that we ought to teach a child that the way that we know how. So we ought to teach them diligently, and so they won't depart away from them. At times when you're teaching a child and they receive it, they might not do it right then and now. But further on down the road, they will remember these things. But if you're not teaching a child these things, and then it goes and get into Corinthian activities and things that would hinder them and cause them to be jailbound in jail or catching a charge, then because they were not taught these things, it would not be with them. And they're not receiving these things. And so one of the things that to have an impact on a child, it has to start at home. And then we can teach the parents so that they can teach the child, because the thing is that too many kids is not having supervision among their home. And just as Mr. Jacket said, when he pulled up at late at night, there was no supervision, there was no parenting, that the kids are just going haywire. They just here now, this at night the child should be at home, in bed, getting ready to go to school or go to church or go to some kind of program to have a positive effect on their life. And that is wrong with some of the ways that we're having among the communities and in our home, is the impact that we're not providing for our children. And we're going to need that, because if they're not taught these things, then when they go among the world, they're not going to, reciprocate to some of these things. They're not going to receive these things when something happened to them. And we all are not devil-proof. Things going to happen to us. The devil is not going to discriminate what color you are, what race you are. It would not discriminate. Whether you're at that place or this place, or you're going to be used by this thing, or you're going to be used by that thing, we all going to be in a place at some time that we're going to make bad decisions. But bad decision reflects off how we've been taught. I made bad decisions in my life. But because how I was raised and how I was taught, I was able to reciprocate from those things that I was taught. And because I had mentors, I had pastors, I had people that was a positive, reflection in my life that was able to guide me in different direction. And that's what we got to do. We got to guide kids and youth in different direction where they're from. If we're not guiding them, then they're going to continue to go in that path. And that path can be in a negative way.
Okay. So we have a